Welcome to class. Today we will walk through the steps of presenting a lesson using the gradual release of responsibility model of instruction developed by Pearson and Gallagher in 1983. This model can be used within the context of an individual lesson or an entire semester's work. The teacher first models the performance of the task. Then the teacher and class perform the task together. Next, the students work to perform the task within small groups, and gradually the responsibility for performing the task is released to the individual students. This visual representation, developed by Nancy Fry and Doug Fisher in 2006, shows the four interactive components of the gradual release of responsibility model. You will notice the diminishing role of the teacher and the augmenting role of the student as the lesson progresses. We will focus on each part of the structure throughout today's presentation. The first phase will be the focus lesson, where the students will actively listen, take notes, and ask for clarification. My role during this phase of the lesson will be to establish the goals and purpose of the lesson, provide direct instruction, model the skill, and think aloud as I walk through the thinking process of the skill. Join me for some highlights from this session. Welcome to class, scholars. Prepositions are your best friend when it comes to writing a star-studded composition. You can find prepositions around the stars, in the sky, or behind the moon. Come on, let's get started. Today's learning targets are: you will understand the purpose of prepositional phrases within a sentence. You will be able to identify a prepositional phrase within a sentence while referring to a list of prepositions. And our long-range learning target is that you will be able to use prepositional phrases in your compositions to add rich description. Before we get started with our lesson, let's take a quick look at this video clip. And I want you to look for something special. I want to see if you can identify why people might want to use prepositions and prepositional phrases in their writing. Let's take a look.
Like a butterfly or like a bee, like an ant as busy as can be. These little words we call the busy bee. Preposition. 9 or 10 of them do most all of the work. Of, on, to, with, in, from, by, for, at, over, across. And many others do their job, which is simply to connect their noun or pronoun object to some other word in the sentence. Busy bees, if you please. On the top is where you are. Top relates to where. With a friend you'll travel far. With a friend you'll go. If you try, you know that you can fly over the rainbow. Over the rainbow is where you can fly. Busy prepositions, always on the go. Like a bunch of busy bees, floating pollen on the breeze, buzzing over the meadows, beyond the forest, through the trees, into the beehive.
Alrighty, what a great song! Can you identify, after listening to that video clip, why people would want to incorporate prepositional phrases in their writing? Go ahead and put that in a text note for me. What did you get from the video? What is the purpose of those prepositional phrases when you're writing a composition? Next, let's take a look at this sentence on the board. My dog is running around the yard behind the garage and up the driveway. Let me take my highlighter tool and work with you to identify the prepositional phrases in the sentence, and then tell me what's special about those phrases. What do they bring to the sentence? The first prepositional phrase is around the yard. The second one, behind the garage. And the third one, up the driveway. If we take all those prepositional phrases out, we're left with my dog is running. That's a great sentence. Good, solid, strong. You can picture a dog in your mind. But when you know that that dog is running around the yard, behind the garage, and up the driveway, doesn't that paint even a more detailed picture in your mind as to where that dog has been? And the energy level that dog must have. Prepositional phrases add so much detail to your writing to help paint a picture in your reader's mind. Let's look at the prepositional chart. This is a listing of some of the most common prepositions used in sentences. We will memorize this list because it will help us identify prepositional phrases quickly. Let's read through the listing together before taking a look at the sentences below. Alrighty, next, let's go through the sentences in the green box. You'll notice the first sentence is, Mrs. Newell is driving over the bridge. Now what you're looking for is the word in the sentence that you find in the chart above. Do you recognize it? Let me get my marker out. Do you see one of the words in the sentence also in one of the boxes above? Absolutely. Here we have the word over, and here we have the word over. And I want you to pay special attention to the word bridge at the end, because prepositional phrases begin with a preposition, and they're going to begin with a preposition from our list, and they're going to end with either a noun or a pronoun. So the whole phrase is over the bridge. And you will see that Mrs. Newell is driving is a good solid sentence, but Mrs. Newell is driving over the bridge gives you more of a picture as to what I'm doing. Very well done. During the guided instruction portion of our class, I will guide the identification of the prepositional phrases as the students learn the thinking process and begin working together to see the connections. Prepositional phrases can be found at the beginning, middle, or end of a sentence. You can have more than one prepositional phrase within a sentence, so stay sharp. First, let's take a look at sentences where the prepositional phrase is located at the end. The first sentence, who can read this for me? Very good. I saw you in the car. The first thing you want to do is to locate the preposition. Use the chart above. Find the word in the sentence that is also in the chart above, and let's identify it through a text note. Very good. Many of you are finding the word in the chart, and in is the preposition in this sentence. I saw you is a good sentence, but I saw you in the car is an even more descriptive sentence. And what is it we said about every prepositional phrase? It begins with a preposition and it ends with a noun or pronoun. Very good. Great text notes I'm getting. So in the car is the prepositional phrase. Alrighty. As we go through this lesson, we would handle the prepositional phrases beginning of the sentence and also prepositional phrases, for example, in the middle of the sentence. During the collaborative portion of our lesson, I will introduce the Prepositional Closet interactive whiteboard. This will allow students to work in the breakout rooms in a group of 3 as they complete sentences with prepositions. Alrighty, everyone. Before we go into our next phase of this lesson, where you're going to go into breakout rooms and work in small groups of 3, I want to introduce you to what you'll be working with in the preposition storage room today. Your sentences are located on the lower shelf here. One at a time, you'll pull the sentence down. You can do that, of course, by using your up arrow tool in the Illuminate classroom. You'll bring the sentence down, read it as a group, and determine what preposition will complete that sentence and have it make sense. This story is blank frogs. Well, how about this first one? This story is about frogs. Bring it down. Try it in the sentence. That may not be the only preposition that fits, but that is certainly a good one that makes a sensible sentence. When you're done, just set the sentence here in the use sentence box and place your preposition back on the shelf for use in another sentence. Work through each of the sentences here on the bottom shelf as a group, and then we'll come back together and see how you did. The independent learning will occur in the classroom first as the students create sentences and send them to me through text messages. My purpose is to make sure students understand the concept. Then I will put the students in the breakout room to create sentences based on the B interactive board. They will be instructed to utilize their prepositional phrase list to create their own sentences when they're in their private breakout room. After completing at least 5 sentences, I will have them submit their work via Schoology for my review and evaluation to determine the level of understanding. All right, as we bring class to a close today, and you go into your independent breakout room individually, I would like you to refer to the preposition list that you were given during class. You'll see that the B using your up arrow is the movable part of the board, and the direction sheet down here tells you exactly what we're going to be doing. Using your up arrow, move the B around the room to see how many sentences you can write using a prepositional phrase. For example, if you move the B over here, you can write the sentence, I see the bee on the table. And right here on the table, you can see the prepositional phrase. Write 5 sentences for me in your breakout room. You can move the bee wherever you please around the room. Create a sentence. You can pop your direction sheet out of the side. Create 5 sentences that indicate to me that you understand how to use those prepositional phrases in your writing to make it more exciting. Have fun. Just as these robins grow from nest to independence, so too our students grow from dependent learners to independent learners, utilizing the gradual release of responsibility model of instruction.